Hello, my nomies. This week's car review is a 2016 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring Aude, which is short for all-wheel drive, which means that it was designed to be driven on-road and off-road. Though I've never really been the kind of person to ever want to drive off-road, still, I drove this vehicle to try it, and I'm going to give you my impressions, my experience in 7 days of driving this vehicle. Now, you might have remembered from the beginning of this video, I said this is from 2016. And I'm recording this in the year 2015, which means the vehicle's kind of from the future. But it's not very futuristic. When they dropped off the vehicle, the first thing I noticed on the outside was a really nice design, and not that I would have much to compare it against, but it was very pleasing to my eye, even though I happen to wear prescription lenses. I like the interior design as well. The two-tone colors makes it look a little more nice than it probably actually is. It's not a luxury class vehicle. I'm not saying it's a bad vehicle. I'm just saying that it's somewhere in between a compact car and an SUV. But it's more like a beefed up compact car, if you ask me. And I know you're asking me, or you're wondering because you're watching me talk about this car, or vehicle. When I sat in it, I first thought, this seems like a pretty decent compromise, although I wasn't very happy with the analog gauges. That's never going to win any points in my book. According to documentation, the MSRP is $33,840. And yes, I know it's MSRP. It's just much more fun to say Aude and MSRP. It doesn't look too big, it doesn't feel too big, it doesn't look too small, it doesn't feel too small. It's a pretty decent compromise between pretty much everything that's out there today that I know of. I wouldn't really say that this was a teched out package, but I wouldn't say it was bare bones either. It was right in between, a good compromise. I could tell when someone was in my blind spot because I got warning lights in the side mirrors. I also had a nav system. I had a radar cruise control feature, which you know I love. Everything else was kind of there and out of my way. Nothing that really blew me away, though, as far as technology is concerned, in the average usage of the vehicle. It was better than average. I think I liked how it felt when I drove. It was relatively smooth. I never really thought about it, which to me says everything about a vehicle. I didn't feel like it was too much or too little in one direction or another. It just felt comfy. It handled well enough, but I don't really know if I ever toggled the sport feature in the vehicle. There's a little switch that you can flip there. Dip switches! They're not dead yet. I only toggled the manual mode once on accident, and I wasn't happy about that. I kind of wish there was a different way of doing it, but I suppose that for the people who would rather drive a manual and yet have the convenience of an automatic, that feature is really, really nice. It's just not something that I look for. Either way, it's on the shifter. That's what they call the stick, right? Not the stick from a manual, but the stick that sticks out to make sure that you're in park, reverse, neutral, or drive. The sound system was decent, the nav options were decent, the communication options were decent, everything was pretty much decent. The trunk size seemed okay. I was able to put pretty much every box that I needed to put in there in the trunk and didn't have a single issue with it, and there were some days that I needed to transport bigger boxes than on other days, especially the days that diapers and formula happened to be delivered to our mailbox. I felt that it was comfortable enough for me to drive, but I also noted that it was comfortable for Diana when she was either in the passenger seat or in the back passenger seat. She said it was okay. Decent legroom. Decent. Comfortable. Ample. Average. A couple of USB ports are exposed down below, as well as an SD card slot, which was kind of weird to see. Then you also have the option of steering a dial to navigate your nav system. Could I say it that way? I think I just did. I'm turning the dial right now. And look at that, the icons are moving. Well, not really. They're like, getting highlighted, like I can go into navigation or settings or communication or entertainment or applications. You could also operate the screen by touching it, but I wouldn't say that anything really jumped out at me as beyond the average nav system, which is neither good nor bad. It's right in the middle. It's a good compromise. I didn't really have any overarchingly positive experiences, nor did I have any overarchingly negative experiences in this vehicle. It was okay. So who do I believe this car is for? Small families with simple needs, people who don't like compact cars, or someone who plans on going off-road frequently. Who is this not for? Regular old drivers who just need to get here and there. People who are not very adventurous. like me, or people who don't need something that is bigger than a compact car. It's pretty straightforward. But then again, so is the vehicle. From 2016. I lived in the future for a week. I don't really have anything else to say about the car at this point in time, but I appreciate the fact that you did tune in, and hopefully you are appreciating my vehicle reviews as I do them as regularly as I get vehicles. I kind of get them as they come in. I don't really have much of a choice, not that I would know what I was looking for, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Okay, seems to be the word of the day. I should remind everybody that if you want to see actual driving footage of this vehicle, you should tune into the daily Pirillo vlogs, because I actually drive in this vehicle, and vlog. It's like happening every single day. That's in another channel though. I'll be sure to link it in this description. If you have any questions about this particular vehicle, please ask in a comment and I will do my best to address them in every way possible, unless of course I don't really have an answer to the question. Thanks again for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and at this point I'm going to leave you to your own devices.